The Lions are not rebuilding anymore. That part is over. So when Detroit brings in a rookie class, the question isn't who has potential 3 years from now. The question is who can help this team win while the window is open.
Lions, Thanksgiving.
I mean, it's another good one. Obviously, you got the Ben Johnson, Dan Campbell. I mean, the NFC North has got some freaking bangers.
They're going to have a bunch of those, yeah. I'll say Thanksgiving.
I'm going to put it below. I'm more excited for the Packers game, but I am very excited for this game.
Yeah,
I'll go 4.
I'll give it a 6. I'll give it a 6.
6? Oh, I was looking for more than that. All right.
Lions at Bills week 2. This will be the Bills' new stadium opening day. It'll be big pomp and circumstance, but I don't know about the football.
So time out. The last one, did we go 6 or do we go 5 or 4? What do we do for that one?
Sounds like you want to go 5, so we can go
No. I'm genuinely asking what Brandon put, because if you said he put it down for 6, I'll put this one at 5.
You think this one's more exciting? All right.
I'm excited about the new stadium, and I'm happy that the Bills kept the stadium outdoor. So I actually am very much looking forward to the new stadium.
Definitely pumped on the new stadium.
That's where we're at right now. We have Packers, Bears, Christmas at 3, Bears at
right,
Lions, Thanksgiving at 6, Falcons, Saints at 9. Okay, we'll go back.
You could have just said we put the game at 6, and we would be further.
I was
5.
finding out myself. Lions at Bills week 2.
5, you just said, right?
Okay.
How do we feel looking at it?
I love it.
I think Ravens Steelers is too high. I think it's neither of
Seahawks
those
at Rams
teams.
week 18 at 10 is so bad.
That's what I'm saying.
Neither of those teams what?
Neither of those teams were that competitive last year. So, I like watching those two teams play. The Ravens and Seahawks were not. The Ravens and Steelers, I like them. I love the fan bases. I love all that. But to say that's number 4 until they prove that they can get Lamar back, I like Jesse Minter. I'm excited to watch the game. But to say it's the 4th game I'm excited about, I don't love that. I'm much more truthfully excited about the Seahawks and Rams games.
Yeah.
I'm probably
the AFC
also
Northerner in me is saying I'm more excited for that rivalry. I don't know why.
I know. Well, I get it. We grew up with AFC North.
Yeah.
I also think Bears and Lions should be above it.
This was blind ranking. This is why we blind rank. It makes it fun.
Us having the 10th game of Seattle against the Rams week 18 in this blind ranking is going to come.
People are going to give us some shit about it. We're going to get some comments.
We're going to get a week 18 big matchup there, and it's going to be turns out this is the game of the fucking year with all the balls on.
People are going to remember this list and come back to it.
All right, we'll stamp it. Let's stamp it and see how we end up doing at the end of the year.
Stamp it. We'll get stamped.
Please don't go. We've got more New Heights waiting just for you.
There's some primetime games in there. Obviously, that Buffalo game is daunting, but you're going to face it at some point. So, rather get that out of the way without snow. I think it's really nice to get the Packers fresh out of the bye. The bye's a little early, but not devastatingly early. And then you look at the middle of the schedule, which really centers around the Munich game. You knew it was coming in November. You knew mid-November, probably a month ago, and you kind of wanted to see how that settled out. We kind of got a sense that the bye wasn't coming after that game back at the owners' meetings, and it's tough, right? You come back, it's short rest no matter which way you slice it when you're coming back from a 10-hour flight. You get a Bucs team that constantly plays you tough, and that rolls right into Thanksgiving against a Bears team that is going to be a rival and a pretty intense rival for as long as Ben Johnson is there. You catch a little bit of a soft spot there with the Falcons and Titans coming out of it. And then, it's the part that everybody wants to talk about. Everybody looks for, I think, always the worst part of the schedule, the Detroit versus everybody. How did the NFL screw you? And in this case, it's 3 divisional road matchups to close it out in 4 weeks. And that's tough. Would it have been a little bit better if you flipped one of those home and aways somewhere in there? Yeah, right. Probably. But I look at it and I say, if that's the worst thing you have to deal with, then so be it. I think the Lions have proven they're no longer the team that can't handle these tough road games in cold weather within the division. They beat the Packers in Green Bay when they were fighting for their playoff lives in that 23 season that I brought up to start this conversation. They've beaten Chicago, I think, post December 20th, back-to-back the last 2 years. And so, it's not going to be easy, but you're going to have to play those games anyway. And I comped it a little bit to a Tom Izzo schedule. right? Maybe go through the gauntlet a little bit as you hit the postseason, and maybe you're battle tested and all the better for it. But I would rather, start hot, be playing from ahead, and have a little bit of a cushion to play with going into the end than be trailing a divisional opponent and having to win those games, even if they're a little softer down the stretch.
What'd you think about getting the Bills on the road, like you said, at night, week 2, getting the Panthers, who were a playoff team last year, on the road at night early? Lions have shown, JR, over the last few years, I mean, going to Kansas City and winning that opener that everybody talked about, going to Baltimore last year, winning at night in Houston a few years ago. Early in the season, it seems like Dan Campbell likes that, that pressure, and they've done well there. So does that bode well this time around, you think?
They are in no way afraid of the bright lights. Panthers are a good team. I think they've made some really nice improvements to both their offensive line and defense this season. But that's still a team that I think is figuring it out. They don't have the most daunting quarterback situation, if you will. It'll be a competitive game, no doubt. There's a reason it was scheduled as a primetime matchup. But I look at that Bills game, and I can't shake the last time these two teams played and how Detroit just had no answer. I mean, no answer for that Buffalo offense. No answer for their ground game. Look at, obviously, the Lions have improved at some level individually with a lot of players across their roster, but certainly not a lot of personnel improvements, if any, from last year to this, outside of maybe some rookies that we don't really know what they'll be. Certainly, we don't know what they'll be in week 2. So that one to me is already shaping up to be a shootout. We're months away from the season. Who knows how things will shape up? But if you told me that there was 80 combined points in that matchup, I would believe you.
You mentioned before the Munich game. Look, nobody piles on Rod Wood more than I do, but a lot of people have, based upon him making the decision and working with Mike North and the league with the whole bye situation and getting that mini bye after Thanksgiving. What was your take on that?
I think it would be naive to pin this on Rod Wood and to think that it wasn't a organizational decision where he was simply the go-between for the organization, the league, right? There are certain things that fall onto the plate of the president. And this is, something that he's kind of always handled, is taking the organizational request, whether it's starting the season here or avoiding something here because something's going on at the stadium. He's just the liaison in this situation. Right. He's not making organizational decisions on whether the football team should have their bye here or there. Like, all that input is filtered through Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes and Sheila. And look, it is important to them financially, whether you want to ignore that aspect or not, that they have this German partnership, right? They have marketing and branding rights in there. You're going to be playing internationally. You want the game in Germany because it's good for your organization. It's good for the branding elements of it. It's good for your star receiver who's German or has German heritage with his mom. So it was one of those things where the schedule was going to line up in this particular way. I think it was decided organizationally that this is fine. My understanding is they're going to be flying out to Germany late in the week, Thursday or Friday, and flying back. So I think it's going to be kind of a bang bang trip, and they're hoping that not being out there, maybe that full week, will not mess too much with the body clocks.
8 1:00 games, could be 9 depending on the Green Bay game. What do you think of that? Obviously you love it as a reporter, but for the team, just to get in a little bit more of a routine. Last year, the games were so scattered in terms of start times. How much did that hinder their routine last year?
It's really tough to say like how much things like that impact. Like you have to be prepared as a football player, as an athlete, to play in all these time slots. And when you're good in particular, right? Like we talked about this, or it was brought up in a call with Mike North after the schedule was released, that despite being a last place team, Lions still drew quite a bit of interest for primetime. Like, they are an exciting team, last place finish or not. Like, I think people still view this this team as a legitimate, whether you want to say it fringe or full Super Bowl contender. So you have to be prepared to play these primetime games, to be on a national television audience, to be a draw internationally. We saw that the league is expanding to 10 international games. I think we're barreling towards 16 international games with the next CBA, where everybody's going to play once overseas. It's just part of being an NFL player, but I don't think anybody is going to complain about having a little bit more consistency to their schedule. Like routine, I think is in our nature as humans. We thrive when we kind of know how things are going to be set up. We know Dan Campbell loves 1 o'clock games. I like 1 o'clock games. That means I'm out of the stadium around 9 p.m., which is reasonable. I'm not leaving at 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning after a primetime game, catching a flight. I mean, it is disrupting to my schedule, to the players' schedules, to the coaches' schedules. And so I don't think anybody's upset that there's a pretty heavy slate of 1 o'clock games. And I mean, even more if you consider like the Arizona game is 1 o'clock that local time, right? So, I think it's a good thing.